Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari. Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Shri Shri Pad Lakshmana Singhadev Bhagavan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody to today's Bhagavad-gītā class. So, yeah, I guess I speak in English, I don't really need to ask probably. But gibt es jemanden, der kein Englisch spricht? Okay, then no need for translation. Yes, so today we read from the Bhagavad-gītā as it is, with original Sanskrit text. It's from transliteration, word for word synonyms, translations, and elaborate purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we continue in the 18th chapter, the completeness, the perfection of renunciation. And today's text 56. Okay, it's not there, but we save some time. So just read the text. Savakamanya pi sada kuvano matvyapashlayaham matprasadata vapnoti shashvatang padam avyayam. Now read the word from word translation and you can just repeat word by word. Sarvam, all. Kamani, activities. Api, although. Sadam, always. Kurvanaham, performing. Madhyapashrayaham, under my protection. Madprasadat, by my mercy. Avapnuti, one achieves. Shashvatam, the eternal. Padam, abode. Avyayam, imperishable. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word Madhyapashrayaham means under the protection of the Supreme Lord. To be free from material contamination, a pure devotee acts under the direction of the Supreme Lord or his representative, the spiritual master. There is no time limitation for a pure devotee. He is always, 24 hours a day, 100% engaged in activities under the direction of the Supreme Lord. To a devotee who is thus engaged in Krishna consciousness, the Lord is very, very kind. In spite of all activities, in spite of all difficulties, he is eventually placed in the transcendental abode or Krishna Loka. He is guaranteed entrance there. There is no doubt about it. In that supreme abode there is no change. Everything is eternal, imperishable, and full of knowledge. Again the verse. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. Om Agyana Timirandasya Yaknanjana Shalakaya Shakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarupyacha Kripasinubhaivacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, thank you everybody for coming to this class. Nowadays the temple is very much full of many devotees. It's a very nice sign of the growing of the temple and Krishna consciousness in general in the West. I'm so grateful that you all came, especially it's very inspiring if devotees in Indian body come and still practice their tradition here in the Western world. It's very, very nice. So now, please give your blessings so that I can speak something of value, because you might know it better than me, probably know it better than me, but still I try to say something. So yeah, in this verse, there are the devotees, or the pure devotees described, and they engage in all kinds of activities. And yesterday also Muninda Ganapur talked about those activities, the 9 processes of devotional service. And there's just one very major difference. It's the consciousness of the devotee, because the devotee is with his consciousness with Krishna, or the other devotees of Krishna. And that's why it's seemingly, from outward vision, it seems like he might be doing the same activities. He's cooking something, he's buying something, he's going here and there. But the consciousness is different, that's why. And the activity is also spiritualized. It's fully spiritual if one is conscious of Krishna. For example, the activity of cooking. If a devotee lives in a temple, or also a devotee lives at home, he sees this as a yajna, as a sacrifice actually too. Even go shopping to the shop to think of Krishna while shopping. What does Krishna really like to eat now? So one can find out, choose different preparations, and then the preparation itself. When you're cooking, then you're conscious of Krishna. You don't taste. You use the ingredients that Krishna really desires, and you just try to satisfy Krishna by your cooking also. And then there's the offering process, the offering with different mantras. Normally it's done, and this is also just the direct offering to Krishna. You offer the food stuff you prepare to Krishna. So it looks maybe outwardly, except of the chanting of the mantras, this looks kind of spiritual, so to say, but outwardly it might look like a normal material activity, but the consciousness is very different of the devotee. And everybody can do this actually also at home. And I mean, in the temple it's a little more easy, but even at home one can have a little altar. Most of you most probably have an altar at home with some pictures of Krishna, and also maybe Srila Prabhupada or even your spiritual master. And then you can just buy groceries for Krishna and then prepare with your whole family and friends for Krishna and then just offer it. And Srila Prabhupada actually also told, you don't even need to know the mantras of offering. He said, if you don't know the mantras, just say in your own words, in your mind, please Krishna, I have made this kind little offering for you, in my best capacity, whatever I could afford and do. So just ask for acceptance, please Krishna, accept this offering. And Krishna says in Bhāgavad-gītā, it's verse 926, Patram pushpam palam toyam, yome bhaktya prayashati, tat aham bhakti uparitam, ashnami prayatatmanaha. So if someone with love and devotion offers to Shri Krishna a leaf, flower, water, or just a little fruit, he will accept it. So it's a very simple process. Everybody can show his love and devotion just by offering something he can gather, even from nature. You don't even need to buy anything. But if you have more means, Srila Prabhupada often points out, Krishna doesn't see what you give really, he just sees what you hold back. So if you can, give more, but if you have just some simple facilities, you can also just offer some water, some food. And in the next verse actually, Krishna talks about that everything should be offered to him. Yat shuhoshi, yat ashnasi, Yat karoshi dadasi yat, yat tapasyasi kauntaya, tat kurushvamat apanam. So Krishna says there, whatever you do, even whatever you eat, whatever sacrifice you do, whatever austerities you do, Arjuna, please do it as a sacrifice for me. So in that sense, everything can be done as a sacrifice for Krishna. And as we talked about, it's just about the consciousness. Even if one goes to work, takes care of the family, whatever activities, one can try to be Krishna conscious in that moment. Maybe chant the holy name in the mind or out loud, or think about what Krishna would do in that certain situation. Whatever comes to mind, whatever is beneficial for Krishna consciousness. And here Srila Prabhupada points out in the purport that by this engaging fully in Krishna consciousness, what one is mat vyapashalayaha, means under the protection of the Supreme Lord. And he continues then to say that the pure devotee, well, I guess also all devotees who aspire to be pure, they are act under the direction of the Supreme Lord, by the instructions of the Bhāgavad-gītā, for example, or by instructions of a representative of Krishna. And that's probably the most authorized way to really approach Krishna, to some representative. And here especially the spiritual master is mentioned. So that's a very important process in Vedic tradition to approach a spiritual master, to accept shelter of a spiritual master, to get initiation from a spiritual master, and to serve him, or serve his instructions also. But even if you don't have like a physical spiritual master yet, then Srila Prabhupada is also there. Srila Prabhupada gave many instructions in his books, and he says he's always present in his books. He actually says even that those books he wrote are the law books for the next 10,000 years. So those are the laws that devotees could and should follow, and by that one also already has some connection to this disciplic succession and also to Krishna himself in that sense. And even Srila Prabhupada was announced way before he appeared. There's one great saint in our tradition, Lochan Das Thakur. He wrote a book, Chaitanya Mangala. And I don't know the exact verse, but he used the word Senaparti Bhakta in one of his writings. Lochan Das Thakur is a follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I don't know exactly where he lived, but just a few years, dozens of years after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so it's around 1500 at the time. And he wrote about the Senapati Bhakta, the general of all devotees who will come to the West or to the whole world and preach Krishna consciousness all over the world. So this was even announced way back, and then, as we all know, Srila Prabhupada did this miracle. Srila Prabhupada was the one. And then, after trying to follow Srila Prabhupada as good as possible, studying his books and trying to imbibe his mood, then also, as it's mentioned here, then one can approach a spiritual master who is physically present at the moment. And those are, in our tradition, mostly followers or direct followers of Srila Prabhupada. And also the Bhāgavad-gītā in verse 4:34 states that Vidi Pranipatena Pariprashnina Sevaya Upadekshyanti Te Gyanam Gyaninas Tattva Dashinaha. Try to understand the supreme truth by approaching a spiritual master. Try to listen from him in a humble state of mind and serve him submissively. Those self-realized souls, they can impart supreme knowledge to you because they have seen the truth. So Shri Krishna very much emphasizes this point of approaching a spiritual master to get spiritual realizations, to move forward in spiritual life. And it's very important because the spiritual master really knows the heart of the disciple, and he can really give individual instructions. So most devotees know it when they have some question in mind, then they open Srila Prabhupada's books and somehow he answers on this. Mostly this happens, or not to say mostly, but sometimes this happens. But if you have a physical spiritual master present, you can always ask him questions and he can give really individual instructions because he really knows his disciple. And then the duty of the disciple is then surely, if one is really then at that stage that one could accept the spiritual master, to adjust to the instructions of the spiritual master. Because this is the as Srila Prabhupada says, the secret of success in spiritual life. Because by the grace of the spiritual master, one really gets the grace and protection of Shri Krishna. And this is not so easy most of the time, because in the material world, the spirit soul has a false ego and also some false concepts and thinks himself to be the doer, or thinks himself to be very independent or very smart. And then sometimes it comes into some purification. And it's also said that in association of the spiritual master or in following the spiritual master, he really gets those impurities, the anarthas, out of the heart, because that's a very important process that we can make further progress. But it can be a little bit of a struggle sometimes. But still, the spiritual master is very loving, very caring, and he just wants the best for the disciple. And actually, it is said by advanced devotees or by the scriptures itself that the words of the spiritual master are like the supreme court. So actually, what the spiritual master says should be accepted and should be followed, and one should not argue or whatever with the spiritual master. If one has doubts, surely we can talk with the spiritual master or other devotees about it. But it's very, very bad for the spiritual development if one really neglects the spiritual master or doesn't follow his instructions at all. And because it is said that through the spiritual master, Shri Krishna is revealing himself. It is said the Shaitya Guru, the Guru in the heart, the super soul in the heart of every living entity, when the spirit soul really desires for it in a sincere and spiritual life, then the Shaitya Guru, the super soul, Paramatma, manifests in front of him as the spiritual master. So if one is on that stage accepting the spiritual master, getting initiation, then one should be clear-minded that, okay, this is now a representative of Shri Krishna for me, so I should really follow without any false pride and accept what he is saying. And that's a very important point, but sometimes the spiritual master is also not present, or the spiritual master might have many, many disciples, and one might not be able to approach the spiritual master for individual requests. So that's why it's also very important in spiritual life to have some advanced devotees you can exchange yourself with. Can be friends, but should be friends also. One should have also devotee friends, surely. But should also be one, so to say, mentor. Nowadays in modern society, mentoring is so important in every field. Everybody has his mentors, which is very good actually, because you can really then learn from a person who already went that path, who already did those mistakes. And also in spiritual life, it's also important to have a Shiksha Guru. So a Diksha Guru is the one who initiates you, who gives you Diksha, initiation. And he's normally also a Shiksha Guru. He also gives instructions. Shiksha means instruction. But then there are also other Shiksha Gurus. Everybody can be a Shiksha Guru, so to say. Everybody who has some wise words or instructions for one. But this mentor is like one specific Shiksha Guru, one more confidential Shiksha Guru who can really guide you in spiritual life. And I can only tell from my own experience when I joined the temple, and I had surely also my own mind, like everybody has, and there are difficult times in spiritual life and also material life. And I was much in association with our Sankirtan and Brahmacharya leader from here, Mulindragana Prabhu. And just by his association and his strong desire to serve Krishna, to help to spread this movement also, I also could develop more and more this desire and could be more and more stable in spiritual life and get taste for the chanting of the holy name, get taste for book distribution, any other devotional activities. And really by him I got pulled on, even though I struggled. And he gave many instructions and still gives many instructions to me. And I feel like this is a very safe path, because if one doesn't have any instructions, let's say Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, whatever, then one is much on the mental platform normally. Senses and mind, they dictate what one wants to do and needs to do. And then it can be good materially speaking. You can have a nice, prosperous, wealthy life and everything. But what really is the gain spiritually? What is the gain at the end of life? That's the real question. Does this really free one from the cycle of birth and death? And that's why, to get off this own ideas, own mental platform, it's very much recommended to have a Shiksha Guru at least, and some instructions, someone who you can follow and trust. And by that one is really connecting, as is said here, with the protection of Krishna. And also the Bhāgavad-gītā 9:13 quotes, says, Mahatmanas tumampata davim pankritam ashritaha bhajanti ananya manaso gyatva bhutat adim avyayam. It is said there that those devoted souls who are not under illusion, they take shelter in the devotional service, they practice devotional service, and by that they're under the protection of the internal energy of the Supreme Lord. And that's why they practice this devotional service, they're under this protection, because they know Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead of all living beings, and also because he's completely imperishable. And yes, those devotees, they know that following in the path of those great souls is the path of Krishna's protection. And we sing this actually every morning in the ISKCON temples. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one can attain the mercy of Shri Krishna. And then yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. If one doesn't satisfy the spiritual master, then there's no hope for any progress, no way, nagati. And by that, as mentioned later here, by this process of following Shri Krishna's instructions and also the guidance and instructions of the spiritual master and authorities, then eventually he's placed in a supreme transcendental abode, or Krishna Loka. And Srila Prabhupada writes that only by hearing the descriptions of the Vedas, one can start to understand the spiritual world. And a while back I did some research on the spiritual world because it's a very fascinating topic, another world which is completely spiritual, Satchitananda. And there's actually in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, there's a complete description of the kingdom of God. That's the chapter name actually. And it's described there that those planets, they're named Vaikunta. Vaikunta means fear or worries, and Vai means without, so that's a place without any worries. And that's why, because the spirit soul there is completely free of birth, death, old age and disease, what everybody in the material world is completely worried about. And now one might think, okay, Vaikunta are the spiritual worlds, but Krishna devotees, they actually want to get to Goloka Vrindavan, and Goloka Vrindavan is the highest planet, it is said. But one doesn't need to worry actually, because one of the acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes this planet Goloka Vrindavan is actually in Vaikunta, the highest planet of the Vaikunta planets. And there everybody has the Sarupya Mukti. Mukti means liberation, and Sarupya means the same form, having the same form as the Supreme Lord. And the Vaikunta planets, or the Vishnu planets, is the four-armed Vishnu form, as you all probably know. And the Krishna planet, they all have a similar two-armed form as Krishna. And there's just one little difference in the spiritual world, that Vishnu, he has a Srivatsa, like a little hair, where Lakshmi Devi is residing on the chest. And he has the Kaustuba jewel. And by that one can differentiate in the spiritual world between the living entities there and Vishnu himself. And everything in the spiritual world, it is said, is out of Vishuddha Sattva. It's out of pure goodness. In the material world, there are three gunas. You might have heard three gunas, Tamagun, Rajagun, and Sattvagun. And they're all material, even though Sattvagun is way more elevating than Tamagun, which is degrading. But in the spiritual world, there's no such thing as different modes. There's everything just in pure goodness. There's no distortion or confusion. And everything there in the spiritual world is called Murtimat, because everything there is personal actually. It is described in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam that even landscapes, the trees, the animals, the humans, the living entities there, they are all actually fully Krishna conscious and fully personal. And it is said that they are so Krishna conscious that when they smell some fragrant flowers while glorifying the Lord in their activities, they are very much, not disgusted, but they don't like this fragrance. In the material world, when we smell something nice, we think, oh, it smells so nice, I can enjoy it a little bit. But in the spiritual world, they're actually so much absorbed in Krishna consciousness or in Vishnu consciousness that they don't like anything which is kind of sense gratification. They just want to do everything and anything for Krishna, and everything else is a distraction for them. And it is actually said that there's a verse there in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, when the king of the bees starts humming, starts flying in the spiritual world, then everything, every other animal actually completely stops their glorification of the Lord, whatever they're doing, just to listen to this king of the bees, because this humming of the bee is so nice for the ears, such a nice glorification of Krishna. And in the same way, in an opposite way, so to say, Srila Prabhupada's right there in this purport that in the material world, even an ass, a donkey, is nice, likes to hear himself screaming, and the donkey thinks it's very great singing of philosophy, what he's singing there. But actually everybody is kind of disturbed. But in the spiritual world, there everybody is completely free of this tendency to glorify himself, to show himself off, that they are just listening to any other devotee who is singing or glorifying the Lord. And a very amazing fact also, and I want to close this lecture by that. Most of you probably heard of the Tulasi plant or saw the Tulasi plant. And as I said, it's also a spiritual personality, and Vishnu Krishna is always worshipped by Tulasi Devi. And there in the spiritual world, the flowers are also conscious, Krishna conscious. And they're very, very wonderful and fragrant flowers like the Parijata flower, which Krishna on the earthly planet actually stole from Indra in a Leela. And they're all full of transcendental smell. But even those flowers, they're very conscious of the austerities of Tulasi Devi, because Tulasi Devi is personally on the lotus feet of the Lord and personally worshipping the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada points out there, the most amazing quality of the spiritual world is that everybody there is free of any envy. So everybody is just glad to be in association of other devotees and just glad to glorify the Supreme Lord together with everybody else. And that's actually a quality I personally want to strive for, because I see myself that, surely when someone is better, there's still this, in the back of the mind, this thought process how to drag him down, somehow or other, at least in the mind, to drag him down, to make him a little bad in the mind. So we can take inspiration from the spiritual world, that they're actually all just glorifying the devotees and letting the devotees glorify the Lord, and really respecting all the devotees and all the living entities actually. So by that, I want to end the lecture part, but actually, because today is Sunday, normally Mother Narahari is speaking on Sunday. Some of you might know her. She's been a devotee in the temple for over 40 years, even before the deities, Shri Lakshmi Narasimha appeared. She was here, was already cooking for the Lord, preparing everything. For 40 years, she's doing the service. She once told me even, but I was very amazed, that when she, I don't know when it was, but probably a few years after she joined, she did like the breakfast cooking for the Lord and for the devotees. Before that, she chanted her 16 rounds, and then afterwards she went on 6 to 8 hours of Sankirtan, book distribution, and then she came back. It was like a normal day. And I was like, oh, this is astonishing. I cannot even imagine doing that for a few days. And that's just the power of a very pure devotee. And so now she has had some health issues, and but she's recovering and getting better by all the prayers of the devotees. And I just want to take the time to talk a little bit about her, and maybe if you want to add some glorification of Mother Narahari, if you know her, then you can also do. So I just want to say, as I said already, she's probably one of the most steadiest devotees I know. There's the different stages of devotional life, and one is Nishta. This comes after purification of the anatas. And I could really see she's at least on that level, probably higher, but she already is beyond the anatta nivritti and really stable, really steady. And personally, I have a little bit of a lila with her sometimes, because she probably likes me to sing it for Bhāgavad-gītā. Because when she really likes to engage devotees in devotional service, which is a great quality, and she's very much qualified for that. So sometimes when I come in the kitchen, I know already, okay, now I need to be careful. If I make a false step, then Mother Narahari is there and engage me in some pot washing or some cleaning or whatever. And I was really thinking like this for some times. When I come to the kitchen, I need to be careful now. So yeah, this is just a little bit of my bad attitude. But this is a very amazing quality of Mother Narahari, actually, because she's I feel like she's empowered by Srimati Radharani, who is like devotional service herself, to really give devotional service to other devotees and engage them. And this is also a great quality. And what else? And also, she's so simple. She's really, I never heard her talking about herself or what she needs or what she wants, even though bodily age is there, but she's very much satisfied with all, whatever comes, whatever's there, even doing many hours of service. I remember once when there was a open door festival here, the Simhat. She was there like cooking for, I don't know how many hours, 6, 8, 10 hours. She was just there in the kitchen and trying to prepare the best preparations for all the guests who will come, and just being there, not asking for any help in that case, and just being there and preparing many pakodas and whatever's there. So just amazing personality and very inspiring. And also this verse, though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. This also reminded me of her, actually. Not that she's leaving her body, but I'm pretty sure if the Singadev plans that for her, she's under this protection of the Supreme Lord and surely reaches the Supreme Abode. And that's what I wanted to say right now. What came to my consciousness. If you have something to add about Mother Narahari or any questions or thoughts, would be also appreciated. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Oh no, a silent room. It's not a good sign. Yes, Rajat Prabhu.
Thank you for a very interesting lecture. Forgive me if the question sounds a bit silly, but we always talk about going to Vaikuntha planets or self-realization. We're also doing a lot of processes, engaging ourselves in the devotion service. But at the time of that, is there a way that someone can short say that yes, this devotee is or this devotee is
I mean, what first comes to mind is a verse from the 8th chapter of the Bhāgavad-gītā. So, Krishna says there that whatever you think about at the moment of death, whatever consciousness you developed, so to say, what you remember, that nature you will attain for sure, that body you will attain for sure. And Srila Prabhupada said to the devotees, if you chant the 60 rounds and follow the 4 regulative principles, then you're sure to go back home, back to Godhead. So the statement can be taken a few different ways, because I'm also a little bit on the side, okay, that's true, but how do you follow, how do you chant? It's probably also very important, not just neglectingly chanting here and there and just thinking about all nonsense but not doing it. That's also not really following the principles. But Srila Prabhupada gave this assurance: if you follow this process for the whole life, if you try to be sincere in your devotional practice, then one can be sure that one goes back home, back to Godhead. And what is also very beneficial, if devotees are around when the devotee is leaving the body and they're chanting the holy name or reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, whatever's there. But the assurance that somebody goes back home, back to Godhead, that can only the Supreme Lord give, most probably, because nobody, I mean, maybe spiritual masters they can see and know, but on my platform at least I cannot I cannot say any guarantee for anyone. That's up to the Supreme Lord how he wants to act and wants to do. But yeah, Srila Prabhupada gave this assurance, so I'm just positive and happy if I try my best to follow, then by the Guru's grace I can also go to Krishna Loka.
So we're also in several verses, both in Bhagavatam and Gita. For example, in chapter 3, Krishna says that even though King Janaka was already a liberated soul, he still
Yeah.
already engaged in his duties.
Yes, yes.
It's already, let's say, said that he was a liberated soul.
Yes, yes.
How was that possible? To know, even though Lord Janaka was in this material world, to say that he was liberated. The question is not in a spirit to question the scriptures, but to
Okay.
understand.
So your question is how can it be that, yeah, it's written that Janaka was liberated, even though nobody really knows who's really liberated like this? Yeah, I mean, this verse 320 here in the Bhāgavad-gītā, I guess, I think you mean this verse in the
I
Bhāgavad-gītā?
don't know exactly the verse, but
Yeah.
it's in chapter 3.
Yeah, it's here. Kings such as Janaka attain perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. So, I mean, here it's written that Janaka attained perfection by performing his duties. But, yeah, back to your question, yeah, I mean, if Krishna says someone is liberated, then we can be sure. Krishna knows for sure. That's clear. But also, I mean, also from the qualities of a devotee. Bhagavad-gītā 13:8 to 12 describes real knowledge. It starts with humbleness, freedom of pride, and so on. And by those qualities, one can also see if somebody imbibes all those qualities, then he must be on a transcendental platform. That's also for, normal devotees way to see who is really elevated, who is really developed Krishna consciousness. But other than that, Srila Prabhupada often writes about the Nitya Siddha devotees, and Srila Prabhupada even, confirmed more or less that he came from the spiritual world. And also I'm quite sure his direct disciples, spiritual masters of nowadays, they also, they're just eternal servants of Srila Prabhupada and came here for a mission. I mean, don't quote me on that, it's not like a scriptural evidence, but I'm pretty sure about it. There's some hints of it, at least. Yeah, so in that sense, one can see maybe who is liberated, but other than that, it's a little difficult question, a little difficult to see. Normally it is said a devotee, he can only see from that stage on, where he is on, and below, so to say. Not to discriminate who's better, who's worse, but there's this, and Madhyam Adhikari discriminates between the one who is envious of Krishna, the one who is innocent, and the devotee, and Krishna himself. And the Madhyam Adhikari has a little bit of discrimination, should have discrimination. The Uttama Adhikari, the pure devotee, he sees everybody as pure devotee, but on the Madhyam Adhikari level, one should see, he's there, I can be friends with him, I can inspire him to discriminate like this. So, but as I said, normally just on the stage where you are, you can see who's on that stage or below. So to know who's liberated, that's a little bit too high for me, at least. That's what I can say. Thank you, Rajat, for this question. Yes, Mataji.
For such guarantees, you need to have a spiritual guru. He can guide you in a better way. And from these mentors or these spiritual gurus, you can take Diksha. And after Diksha, your spiritual journey starts. So that's my personal experience.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're on the way, I guess.
Nonetheless, nobody else can give you guarantee. Either you will, end up in Vaikuntha Dham or the Shivloka. Nobody knows. Only your spiritual guru can guide you.
It is said the spiritual master really rescues the soul out of the material world. Yeah.
There's also the example of Śrīmad, I think. fell down because, but I think it said he was in a very elevated stage.
Yeah.
Do you know which one?
Bhava, he was in Bhava.
Nectar of instruction, Prabhupada says that from the stage of Bhava one cannot be anymore be influenced by the visionary energy. So once it comes that he fell down. Kanakisha Prabhu explained that Kanakisha Prabhu is a very scholarly person, and he told that this is for the sake of Ida.
Okay, yeah.
So Krishna maybe engages one in such kind of service.
Engaged in such kind of service?
So he uses his devotees as an example. He also uses Prabhupada to tell us.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, Björn said this, Krishna uses devotees as example for us to learn to see how a pure devotee acts, or how a pure devotee even develops in spiritual life. And he gave the example of Maharaj Bharat, mentioned the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. He was on the stage of bhava, it is said, of ecstasy and devotional service, and he still got attached to a deer, and then fell down. And it was pointed out by Kanai Krishna Prabhu from ISKCON Pune, a great scholar, devotee, that this was also Leela. This was also prepared by the Supreme Lord to show us the example of this, danger of falling down due to material attachment. Yeah, thank you for this. Thank you for this comment. Okay.
At least all spiritual gurus are liberated, you can say, because they are taking to the that path. So
Yes, yeah.
mostly close to the liberation.
I heard actually that also devotees on the Madhyam Adhikari platform can be even initiating gurus. Can be. But from what I see, the initiating gurus I saw now, I'm pretty sure they are on the transcendental, liberated plane.
Prabhupada is also a spiritual guru.
Yeah, Prabhupada is, there's no doubt about it. That Prabhupada is transcendental, yeah. Okay, thank you very much for the attention. Kantaraj, Śrīmad Bhāgavad-gītā ki jai. Madana Hari ki jai. Gauda Bhaktavinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. There's one person who wanted to have offered a kantimana and a japamana. Yeah. Okay. So, let's come to this.